All right. Good evening. Today is January 12th, 2015. It is now 5:32 p.m. and I would like to open the Board of Health meeting. First item on the agenda is to review and add or remove any items on or off the agenda. Anybody have anything that has to be moved?
I don't believe so. Eileen, do you have anything?
It's a vote, so.
Yeah, no, I think we're
Okay.
good, right? Okay.
All right. Do we have a bill schedule?
Yes, we do, so.
Okay.
Okay. Do you want to look at it first?
Oh, go ahead. You can look at it. Looks like it's just Cheryl.
Yeah, it does look like last year.
So that's
anyway.
good. So,
Cheryl. Okay.
all right.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I make that motion to accept the bill schedule.
I second the motion. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, go ahead and sign it. And I'll sign it after you. Okay, next item on the agenda is approval of minutes. As of this point, until Steve comes in, we can only approve the Board of Health meeting minutes for 10/6/2014. We had a full quorum there, all three of us were there, so we can approve that one. So, do you have any questions or concerns on the minutes from 10/6/2014? That's the first set of minutes.
No, I read that while I
Yep.
was waiting. Yeah, no, I don't.
Okay, do you have a motion to accept?
I do make that motion to accept minutes.
I second the motion. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. 2-0 to accept the approval of minutes for 10/6/2014. 10/27/2014 will be tabled until Steve is here. All right, 5, there's nothing. So 6, we have hearings, but they look like we're not anywhere near that time. So we can move right on to director's issues and correspondence.
Okay,
So go ahead.
thank you. So I wanted to bring you up to date on where we're at for the permit renewal process. We have been receiving, actually we've received the majority of the permit applications. They are in process right now. Right now we've taken both Paula and Eileen to be able to get those in process to be able to turn those around as quickly as possible. I know both of them spent a lot of time last week contacting, making the calls to any of the establishments that have not paid at this point. As you remember from last year, anything past the 1st that wasn't paid or wasn't postmarked as the 31st has included a late fee at this point.
Okay.
So we are receiving some last minute permit applications. Those are coming in. We will be notifying the small handful that we have that have not responded to the reminder calls at this point. So a letter will go out informing them if they do not pay promptly that we will be bringing them before the board at the next hearing.
Now, Darlene, what, just to help me out, the permits for particular?
Yeah, so this time of year, we have the majority is food permits. So those are calendar year, so they're good from January 1st to December 31st. In addition to those, we also have trash haulers and septic haulers. They do their renewal. We have tanning. Beach is seasonal, so we're not really at the beach point. The mobile home parks that we have here in town.
That's right.
They renew for the calendar year. And animal permits. Yep. Any
Thank
others,
you.
Paula?
Not that I know.
It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Trust me when I tell you, it's a lot of paperwork
I
to
know.
process, and we're trying to get through that as quickly as possible. So I just wanted to bring you up to date on kind of what our priorities are right now to be able to get through. Eileen has done a great job over the past year trying to update all of the permit information when she goes in to do the establishment inspection. So she's been doing that yearly to update the records that both her and Paula are using to get that information out. So I will, at the next meeting, provide you a list of anybody that hasn't paid at that point to bring them before the board. The next item is the asbestos regulation update. So recently the Department of Environmental Protection had a educational informational session, and
My apologies.
they had a outreach session that I attended last week, and they provided some updates to the asbestos regulation. As you are probably aware, that we normally get the 10-day notification forms when they are going to remove asbestos in accordance with DEP regs. There have been some changes to the regulation. A lot of it revolved around exemptions for small abatements, and these particularly were around homeowners removing some like asbestos floor tiles or wall board, joint compound that contained asbestos. So there were they spent a lot of time highlighting the exemptions to the reg. However, it's important to note that even though they have some exemptions that homeowners qualify for, there's still not the exemption on transporting. So if you were to transport any materials that contain asbestos, that they still need to follow all of the regulation for Department of Transportation and DEP and such. So if a homeowner is, trying to do some of that work themselves, they may not realize that the other piece of that is getting rid of it in accordance with DOT requirements and bringing it to a landfill that will accept it.
Yep.
So those are some of the things that they highlighted at the informational session that I just wanted to bring to your attention. And in your packet, I think I included the notification that we got from DEP. The chamber grant. I wanted to give you an update on this because this was something that for the past several months I've been working on with the fire department and the accounting department to be able to get the funds for the chamber had given us a grant last year, and we had identified a need this past year with the defibrillators, the AEDs that are located throughout town buildings. So as you may remember, approximately, I believe it was about 5 years ago, the Pappas family had donated defibrillators to the town to be able to make those available, should the need arise. Fortunately, I don't think we've had to use any of them as of such. I can't be certain that we haven't used them in 5 years, but to my knowledge, they are located in the buildings. We actually have one outside this room that's the entrance to the selectmen's room. So we have defibrillator there. We also have one on the first floor right outside the treasurer collector's office. And through various
That's a good place.
yeah, through various town buildings. So we were actually able to identify that the AEDs are in need of some batteries. So we actually went around to do a check because we have the pads were replaced too because those expire. So while we were doing a check of the pads, we noticed some of the AED batteries were pretty low. So the chamber had granted some money to the health department to use at the discretion to find a way to help the community. So this, by having these units donated by the Pappases throughout the buildings, we have replaced the batteries that were needed immediately. The police station had a battery that had gone dead, so we replaced that. We replaced the one downstairs in this building. So we have the rest of them to get that out to the AEDs that are needed. But I just wanted to let you know this was a really great thing that the chamber allowed us to do. So we thank them very much, and we'll be doing basically a press release on that soon.
Good.
So we'll have members of the chamber, obviously I invite members of you and the fire department, because they were so helpful in helping us figure out what batteries to order, getting the order made, and they were really helpful to be able to get that done for us. So I just wanted to give you an update on that. The flu update, as you know, flu has been in the news as of late, starting to see increasing flu activity around the country. I wanted to give you our final total. We gave 315 shots for this past season, which I'm pretty excited about. We were able to have, I believe it was 5 clinics. We had some major clinics and some smaller clinics, and all of that, we did all of the clinics prior to, I believe it was even Thanksgiving. So we had all the vaccines distributed really before flu season kind of really kicks in. So I'm happy to tell you that. So that's our update on the flu. And then finally, the last piece in the update under the director is I wanted to let you know we have a couple of new members in our office, inspectional services. The first is we have a new town planner, Matt Benoit, has joined us. He started last week, so he's been here a full week. He comes to us with an extensive knowledge of planning activities and has a planning degree. And he has actually worked for the town previously, several years ago. So he is back and very excited to be here. And I'd like to introduce here at the table, we have Amy Contois. She is the new Animal Control Officer, Animal Inspector. It's actually her first day today. So we welcome her.
Welcome. Thank you.
Welcome. Congratulations.
Amy comes to us with a wealth of animal experience as well. She previously came from animal research at UMass. She previously worked for the Animal Rescue League of Boston, and has other animal experience, and my understanding is very passionate about horses as well. So we are very excited to have her aboard and look forward to, going back to having the position as a full-time position. We've been working pretty hard to get it back to full-time. As you may remember, several years ago it was full-time when Kathy Sabino was here and worked so many years for us. And Darlene Wood, Belcito, and Megan Pike have done a great job for the past several years, but they were only in a on-call capacity due to budget cuts. So we're happy to move back into a full-time position, and we are happy to have Amy. So thank you for welcoming her.
Well, we're nice to her this meeting. It'll be a couple meetings from now that we'll start being mean. So, at this point, before we go into the hearing, I'd like to just step back to number 4, the approval of minutes. Steve and Marion would have to approve 10/27/14. We've already approved the first set. You weren't here, sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we made a mistake there. Yeah,
Was Marion?
Marion
Okay,
wasn't.
that was sick?
No, yeah, you weren't here that day, so
no, I was
no,
not.
I did not realize that.
It's all like that.
So we're gonna have to play this all over again. So, and then we'll go into that. So, we may have to move that to the back end so we can do the, and give you guys time to look it over. That's my fault. I saw Marion's name on one, I thought it was on both.
Okay.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did.
That was on 10/27 on the
Yep.
one. 10/27.
Hey, it's Monday.
Yeah.
All right,
I
I'll tell you what
wrote
we're
it
gonna do then. We'll move into the hearing.
Yeah.
Just because it's past time anyways. So it is now 5:47. I'd like to open the hearing for Burton Engineering, 515 Rochdale Street. Is that you?
No, that's not me.
Okay,
Next one.
you get the next one. So we have a LUA request. I don't have any paperwork on this one.
So, this is,
Local upgrade approval?
yeah, local upgrade approval. I didn't include it in your packets,
Okay.
because we actually, spoke with the engineer today, and there's actually some changes that we have to make to the LUA packet.
Okay.
So this particular property is 515 Rochdale, I'm sorry.
That's all
Let
right.
me just point out. This property is on Rochdale Street. The perk that was, that we attempted to do about 2 months or so ago, back in September, we had a pretty difficult spot to get a perk.
Mhm.
So we actually, through excavation of the backyard in several different areas, we were able to take a soil sample, and that's something that we are allowed to do under DEP, and we are doing that as a
Sieve
sieve
analysis.
analysis. That's correct, right? So we need to add that as actually approval for the board, because it is a local upgrade approval. It's not something that's automatic, so it's something that the board has to approve. So I've actually added that as one of the LUAs. The soil sample was taken at this area right here, test pit 1 in the same area. We had quite a lot of fill that we had to go through, but we were able to get a sample. The results of the sample did come back, and the design has been based upon those results. Now, additionally, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of a little difficult, but this right here, this line, WF, they are wetland flags, 1 through 10. That indicates that there are wetlands in that area, in very close proximity to the proposed septic system. So this distance right here is approximately 20 feet. You actually need a 50-foot setback. So that is actually another LUA that I've identified with the engineer that he needs to propose as well. And then finally, we have the one that he did request is the setback distance from the existing well, which is underneath the porch, not visible. So it's underneath the porch, and to the actual septic system, we're supposed to have 100 feet. We only have 75. So we have the one that they did require, the one that they did propose, and it is on the plan, but the one through the review, these are ones that I've also spoken with him about that, you know, I'd like to have the board consider, because we've already done the alternative to perk, which is allowable. But one thing that we did talk about is he'll have to go through the conservation process.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
conservation has to.
So conservation will have to be part of this approval, obviously, but we also want to have it under the DEP regulation
Yep.
for, you know, for consideration.
When were the wetland flags done?
I don't know who the wetland specialist was, but that would be something, sometimes they'll indicate it on the plan.
Yeah.
They would have to identify that for the conservation plan.
Yeah, because I would
Since
say
that-
is usually conservation wants something within, you know, a year or two.
Sure.
Because sometimes the flags are out there for
And
8
then
years, and
they
you
get
can
changed.
encroachment. I'm running into that with one of my plans right now, so, yeah, so we just have to find out how long the flags have been there.
All the graffiti and
Yeah, it seemed to move deeper into the wetlands.
So there is, there are a couple other concerns that I spoke to him about design-wise, which he's going to take a look at and review some changes. But the actual LUAs, he believes, even with the design changes that we discussed today, he believes that the LUAs that we finally came up with, in addition to the one that he has identified on the plan and the two that I proposed, that to make this a legal plan, are something that he's comfortable with, I'm comfortable with. If the board is comfortable with, you know,
Okay.
taking a look at this, or if you would feel more conservative and you want to have the plan come back, that's really up to you.
What did they find on the sieve analysis for minutes? For what their testing minutes would be?
Sure. So the PERC results were done through a sieve analysis, and it came up with a class 2 soil, so loamy sand. So the design has been based upon compacted soil at 0.15 gallons per day per square foot. So that design that you're seeing is based upon compact soil.
Yeah. Okay. And it's an existing
This is a system repair.
system
Yep.
repair, okay.
So there is an existing soil absorption system. I think it's probably a cesspool.
Okay.
As part of this this approval, I would ask that the system be pumped on a routine basis to prevent any breakout, because this is
So close to the wetlands.
well, it's close to the wetland, but it's also very restrictive soil, and obviously we're not in the best of weather right now. So we'd like to get this system installed, system repair installed, but until they can not fight the weather,
Yeah.
you know, I'd like to have it pumped.
Another property here,
Yes.
and on that side also?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm just trying to remember where 515 is.
So when you are,
Do you remember Al Pope?
there's a
Years ago.
long driveway that goes right aside of that property.
Okay.
So
Past
how
West
this-
Street.
Oh, past West Street. Okay. All right.
So there's actually,
All right, there we go.
so this is West Street right here.
Yep.
Just, I don't know if you can see that.
So you come out, it's
That's
directly on the
West-
left when you take that left-hand
Yeah,
turn.
so when you
Okay.
take,
All right.
when you're at the intersection of Rochdale and West, if you take a left, as soon as you take that left, it's
So this is
it's
street
down on
over
the
here
left.
then?
Yeah.
It looks like this will be street.
Here.
The way the property runs there against the street, so this
No,
is...
that's actually not, no,
Okay.
that's,
Oh, that's,
it's,
all right.
they may own over there, but this right here is there's a long driveway that goes to the back of a house back here.
Stearns, that's where Mr. Stearns, that's the house that's boarded up right now? Is that the one, or is that the other one? There's one that's boarded up, it's off of West Street, but I thought the driveway was off.
No, oh, I know, you're
Yeah.
thinking of 219 West. No, it's not.
Oh, okay, all right, it's not that driveway,
A little
okay.
bit from there. It's
Okay.
a stone's throw away, but it's not.
Okay, all right. Wetlands.
So obviously a challenging design.
Yeah.
Based upon the slopes and trying to fit that. So,
Existing garage, that's the house. Yeah, they got a big slope here, huh?
Mm-hmm.
cars from driving over infiltrators.
Is it doable?
It is doable.
It is
Yeah.
doable. It's just, it's tight,
Mm-hmm.
very tight. And it's a gravity system?
It is.
Okay. I didn't know if there was a pump, but it looks like doesn't need
Doesn't
to
look
be.
like there's a
No.
pump.
No,
Goes
alright.
right from the septic tank to the D box.
Yep. Alright.
And the well's above 114, and that's at about 111.
Yeah, 75 feet, we've done, I haven't, you know,
Downhill.
we've done that before, and
Yeah.
this is floating to the back, so.
I mean, you can, what we've done, anytime you do a well setback or an LUA
You
for
can have
well
testing
distance.
done.
Yeah, you can
Yep.
do
Mhm.
testing prior to installation and, you know, if you want to do 6 months or a year after.
Mm-hmm.
The well is up gradient in the front of
Yep.
the house. It's just, I visually did not see a wellhead because it's
Mhm.
underneath a porch.
Do you know the nature of the wetlands behind the property?
I do
Is there
not.
running water, or is it just, you don't know?
I don't want to
Okay.
I
venture a guess.
If we do approve it, we could always approve it with further approval from
Oh,
Concom.
I wouldn't,
Yeah.
I wouldn't go anywhere near
It
that.
yeah, it
They're-
automatically is.
Yeah, everything
Yeah.
has to, you know, we
Yeah.
have to just make sure that's gonna go through them.
Yeah.
It's their wetlands,
Right,
you know, they control the wetlands, so.
and he's engineered into this design the most reasonable protection for the wetlands on that breakout side.
So
I don't know if there's,
we discussed the additional LUA that I'm
Mhm.
proposing on there. So he is aware that he has to go to Conservation Commission. I would recommend the LUA that for the setback distance for the bordering vegetated wetland. And the plan, if you approve it, you know, conditionally upon
Mhm.
the revisions and so forth coming back, the approved plan would not be released until I got an approval from Conservation.
mhm.
So we don't
Okay.
even release the plan until we
Yeah.
have the order of conditions.
Okay. So, any discussion? Questions, concerns? Okay,
Motion to close the evidentiary and discussion of this hearing.
we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second?
How do you vote?
Aye?
Aye. Okay, so the evidence and discussion portion of the hearing is over. All right, do we have a motion? I can't.
I know.
I'm not allowed.
Yeah, I mean, he's got more papers than me.
Kinda.
You want to do them one at a time?
I want to be sure that we've got 3 separate LUAs being presented. The setback from the well of
Right.
75 feet.
75 feet, yeah, 100 feet required.
We have the setback to
That bordering vegetated wetland, 50 feet,
50 is required, and we have 20 feet existing.
correct?
And then the sieve test.
Right, the alternative to perk.
Okay.
It's
Uh,
50 for the wetland? you
Yes.
said?
We can do these one at a time, just to
I-
make it
I
a little
think
easier.
it'd be easier.
So make a motion to approve the requested request for setback variance from the well to 75 feet, provided they do a pre-construction total Title V test on that well, and a follow-up 1 year later.
Yeah.
When? A year? It's like a
1 year.
We have a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, it is a roll call vote. Marion, how do you vote?
Yes.
Steve, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ray votes aye. All right, so that's for the approval of the 75 feet instead of the 100. Okay.
All right.
Do you want to do
I'm
this
gonna-
one
I'm gonna
first?
go out of order.
I was thinking we do that
I'll
one
put a
next.
motion to approve the requested LUA for the soil test, alternate to the perk test.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Steve, how do you vote?
Aye.
Marion?
Aye.
Ray votes aye. 3-0 to approve a sieve test as opposed to the perk test. Now this is the fun one. The good thing is, Steve, is we're not the final call on this. Much as I hate to push it off to somebody else, we can approve it and Concom can say no way.
Right.
So,
So there is, it is something that is allowed
Mhm.
under Title V. So I have the number identified there, so
Yeah.
it's 405, 15,
E.
405, and that's gonna be E. So it's allowable by DEP?
40515E.
yep. No, 15.405E.
Okay.
15 is the code number.
And I mean, you can, even in the motion, you can condition it upon conservation
Oh,
approves.
I'm just trying to think of how to word it correctly.
I'm gonna jot some
Two.
notes down.
Just so
Uh,
yeah. No.
With conditions?
Could conditionally, so you can recommend approval
All right,
of the
so,
setback distance.
Conditionally with Concom's.
right.
And it has to go through them anyways, but we can just put it in our motion.
All right, so I'll make the motion to approve the requested setback to the BVW
Sorry.
of 20 feet pursuant to 15.405E with the condition that all conditions of the Conservation Commission are met and approval through the Conservation Commission.
Okay, we have a motion on the table. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call vote once again. Steve, how do you vote?
Aye.
Marion, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ray votes no. 2-1 to pass. Okay. At this point, I'd like to bring the hearing to a close. Do I have a motion?
I make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
How do you vote? Aye.
Aye.
3-0 to close the hearing. Okay. Next hearing we have, we're a little behind. It's 6:05, and this is for solid waste disposal request for 400 Packagug Street. Is there someone here for that?
That's me,
Why don't
yes.
you have a seat up here and introduce yourself, please?
My name's John Quist, and I work for the Arc of Opportunity. We're the agency that's going to be running the home at 400 Packagug Street.
Okay.
What we're running is a group residence for 5 disabled adults. We've been doing this for many, many years now, and I mean, our experience is that with 5 adults in a residence, one 64-gallon trash bin wouldn't be quite adequate on an ongoing basis. So I had sent a letter after talking to Ms. Coyle, I believe, to see if it would be possible to be considered, at least for residential rubbish pickup, to be treated as a two-family and pay the increased costs.
Okay. That work under our regs on the solid waste regs?
So we have, Mr. Quist, I'm Darlene, how are you?
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Put
Put
a
face to the
with
name.
yes, exactly. So we have the request in your packets
Mhm.
from Mr. Quist, and as he stated, they are, I think you're almost ready to open?
We're hoping to be moving our individuals in this Friday. I believe we've got a couple of inspections going on tomorrow morning to
Nice.
hopefully wrap everything up.
With the the regulations that we have under the solid waste advisory for solid waste regulations, we have identified, or it is identified, I should say, that the trash for single family and two-family multifamilies are worked out so that when you purchase the house, or the house gets transferred in this case, they've purchased the house and done renovations, you have the choices to be able to sign up for single family or multifamily trash. In this case, where they are asking for consideration for two-family and paying for two-family trash, but they are still a single-family home. So those, you can't change the qualification of the property
Okay.
without going through the assessor. I think I understand Mr. Quist he's not looking for it to be called a two-family because
That's correct.
it's not.
He's
It's
looking
a
to pay the
single-family.
fees for a two-family in order to get the trash picked up.
Right,
in
because
the
it's
barrels.
a single family.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
normally, what we would do in this case is we would refer the applicant to contact alternative trash haulers.
Okay.
Because that, if you look at the way the fees are put together from solid waste, we have the 64-gallon trash bin is the largest trash bin, and if you were to put the 96-gallon recycling bin, the cost for that is $108 for every 6 months. For a two-family, if you have the 2 recycling bins, which is, I believe, what Mr. Quist would want, 2 recycling bins and 2 trash bins, it goes up to $148. So it's a difference of $40 more every 6 months.
Okay.
The amount of trash that's generated from a two-family rate, is not a lot. The amount of trash that may be generated from including this request as a two-family is something that we don't see often.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it
No.
come before the board at this time. I think that we have had a discussion, a conversation regarding having the applicant look at alternative trash haulers, because obviously we license the trash haulers here in town, and I think that this is considerably probably a better deal than having a dumpster brought to the property and so forth. I think part of the reason, and I don't want to speak for the assessor, but part of the reason that the single family and two family, those are worked out because there's other, I guess, taxes and so forth that you pay as a two family.
Yep.
That, this particular property would not be paying. They're still
Okay.
going to pay the single family rates for everything else, but they'd be getting kind of like a discount on the two family for trash. So it's really something that, while I certainly appreciate the type of organization that the ARC is, it's something that we don't see that that is something that we've seen it come before the board, and I think that you have to take into consideration that the town isn't getting the benefit for anything else for the single family home.
Did when's the last time the solid waste committee met?
They actually met last week.
Was this brought in front of them to get any information from them?
It wasn't, because it was to the Board of Health.
Oh, I understand.
So
Yeah,
if you want to,
because they kind of
if you want to refer that to them, certainly you have that.
I mean, I don't know about you, but they're the ones who kind of drew up all the rules and regulations that has to do with solid waste. So before I make a decision, I mean, they're the ones who know the numbers, the money, what it costs, and everything like that. So I think maybe showing it to them and kind of getting their opinion before. I mean, I feel that way because I don't see this every day. They're the ones who run the solid waste. They're our advisors on solid waste, so I'd like to get their opinion. And see, because they've been doing it, it's only been under the Board of Health for 2 years, 3 years now. We've been
Yep.
doing solid waste, I think, Paula.
1 year.
Only 1 year?
What?
Andy had
No,
solid waste.
No, we're into our second year.
Their
I'm
second
sorry.
year. So they may have had something like this in the past. I don't know, because it wasn't under us.
We never had something like this before.
So I mean, if we can,
More than 400
yeah, if we can let them take a look at it and see what's up and then figure out from there.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not trying to slow you down. I mean, you can get,
He can do the
if you
same
get your
ones for the couple of
inspections and you get your people, and that's great. I just wanna do this right. You know what I mean? I wanna make sure it's right by everybody, right by the town, right by you. And I think solid waste would be the way to go.
Had I been asked to send to something other than the Board of Health, we certainly would have done so.
Yeah. No, and I understand that. It's one of those things where it's all new to us too. We've had solid waste for 2 years. This is brand new for us. We have people wanting to change toters. We have people coming in front of us who want to get out of their bill for some reason or the other, and we deal with that. I've never had anybody ask for this, so it's a little different for us. And I think they're the ones who wrote the regulations. So I think maybe, because it does fall under us, so you did go to the right place, but we're the ones who have to send it to them to have them take a look at it. And at this point, I'd feel more comfortable if I had an opinion from the people who wrote the rules
When do they meet again?
I believe it's in 2 weeks.
in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So that
Be about a
puts
week
it,
and a half after
Yeah.
we're hopefully occupying the house, which puts us in a rather difficult situation.
You have other residences of the same size?
Yes, we do.
And what kind of trash and
We
recycling
do
is
a variety
generated?
of things. We just recently opened one in Leominster where we're using a two-tote system with a local trash hauler. We get
64-gallon
two
totes?
64-gallon totes a week, and that seems to be adequate for us in that facility. We don't expect to generate quite as much with this group, but we know we'll certainly go over the single tote. We've also got some residences where, because we weren't able to get actual totes, we've had to put dumpsters in. We put in like a 4-yard dumpster that gets
Yeah.
emptied every couple of weeks, which we'd really not want to do here if at all possible, because it kind of takes away from the residential feel of the neighborhood. Now, we would much rather be having totes so that we look no different than anybody else in
yeah,
the neighborhood.
no, that makes perfect sense.
What about the recycling on the other, on your other properties?
It appears Auburn has a much more robust recycling program
Yeah.
than in both Leominster or Fitchburg, where we have our other facilities.
So-
We're excited about the recycling piece of it because we think that's going to make a big difference for us in terms of the amount of actual trash we have to dispose
Okay.
of. But we're pretty sure we're going to go beyond this one single 64-gallon tote.
What is the cost of the bags?
We have,
Dollar
I was
bag,
just gonna
the
say,
overflow
if
bags.
you have, if the board chooses to send it to the solid waste committee for,
Just for clarification, or kind of their opinion.
Yep, we can certainly do that, because that would be the normal route. In the meantime, you would have the 164-gallon toter for trash. You could put any additional trash in the blue bags. We sell the blue bags that you can purchase at Shaw's or Park and Shop. And those would go aside of the toter. So I believe.
Fairly large, they're like fairly large bags.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're pretty
They're
good size.
33-gallon bags.
Yeah.
So that might, if you choose to go that route, that might be something that will help mitigate the trash issue.
Or even pending
Because-
the final
Yeah.
determination of the board.
Because the trash gets picked up weekly, and the recycling is every 2 weeks. And from a guy who never recycled till I got on the trash program here, I'm doing 1 bag a week. Now I know 5 adults is going to do a little bit more, but I think when you see, because we're a single stream and because of all the stuff our recycling takes, I think you may see, maybe fill that 64-gallon in 1 bag 1 week, and then maybe the 64-gallon toter. So I think you will find that, because of our We do a lot of recycling here in town, and it is a big thing for us. And Darlene pushes recycling on everybody. Darlene is the recycle queen. So we just, I think, because we have such a different setup on it, I think you'll be surprised.
Yeah. How large are recycling totes?
96.
They're
96.
96
Yeah.
gallons.
And at the Leominster property, you only have 264 totes?
We use 264 totes.
no
with-
recycling.
With no recycling. With recycling, they take cardboard and cans and that type of stuff. They actually bring it back to my main office. I run a cardboard dumpster because we run a vocational program.
Right.
They can take their cardboard that way.
Yeah. I'm thinking even if we do send this back to the committee, the solid waste committee, to take a look at it, I think you'll be surprised at how much the recycling you're going to do, because there's so much more that we take. So I could see that you're gonna you could, I mean, not saying it's gonna happen, but if they came back to us and they said, yeah, we'll allow this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, you're gonna get the two. You may not fill them, and then you're gonna be saying to us, 6 months down the road, can't get rid of one. So I don't know. That's I kind of want to have their opinion on it, and I'd like to, I'd like you guys to see how it goes too. I think you may surprise yourself and get away with that 64.
You
An
mentioned
overflow
blue.
bag once or
In an
twice
overflow bag
a
once
month.
or twice
Couple
a
of
month.
times
You said the Stop and Shop, and there's another place.
There's a Park and
Yeah,
Shop.
Shaw's and Park and Shop.
Oh.
They
Those-
sell the bags at those two locations.
Come 5 in a bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's five in a bag. How
Yeah.
much is it?
$1 a bag.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
it's
$5.
$5.
So $5 for a roll of 5.
If I may, also, there's also the option, Mr. Quist, to be able to, you can get another recycling toter. So if that, in addition to the 96 gallon one, you can do a $25, I think it's a $25 fee. You can get another recycling bin that if you were using 2 large bins of recycling with the one for the trash and overflow bags, you might, it might resolve your issue. I mean, certainly, your community needs better than us, but that might mitigate your
The issue of the
Sorry.
blue bags at least gives us an option in the initial few weeks here while we get people settled down. I think I would like to continue to pursue the possibility of being treated in this respect anyways, as a two-family, to have the additional bin there. So the process from here then is it would gets referred back to the solid waste committee.
Yes.
And there would be a public hearing in a couple of weeks on that.
Yeah, and I would notify you of the confirmed date. Right now, I believe it is, it's not next Thursday, but the Thursday after. So,
Now, if I may, is solid waste actually going to make a decision on this, or they're just going to send us back
They have to
their
give us an
advice?
opinion. Whether they give
Yeah,
us
we're
the
the ones
opinion,
that
we have to make the final decision.
So solid waste, if I'm correct, is not going to hold a public hearing on this question, are they?
They can bring him in.
Sure.
Yeah,
right,
but there
we'll-
won't be a
we'll put it,
hearing.
I'll recommend it to the chair for the
Okay.
agenda for
Okay.
discussion.
Yeah.
And, if you so choose, if you are referring it to them for advisement,
Mhm.
they can certainly, discuss it and advise back.
Mhm.
They,
Yeah, because they wrote the rules and
Mhm.
regulations, so I don't want to change anything
Right.
without their opinion.
yeah, it's January 22nd, sir.
Okay, it's a week.
Oh,
That's,
let's see.
that's,
Yeah, because
that's
they
next
met,
Tuesday, isn't it?
it's next Thursday, sir.
Thursday. Yeah, so it's only it's 2 Thursdays from now, so that's good. And then we meet the following Monday.
The 26th.
Oh, but you meet at night, so we may not be able to. Can we put it on the agenda as a possibility to bring him back on the
On the 26th?
on the 26th? We can put him back. Put him on. That way we'll
Yeah.
know in advance. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we can just put them on anyways. Okay, so what we'll do is if you come in for them, they're gonna give us an opinion, and then the following Monday we meet again, and then we can give you our decision at that point, and then you'll know. That way, it'll be bang bang. Hopefully, it'll be real quick. And then 2 weeks from now till then, you'll have to go with the 1-in-1 until we can figure out
With
what's
the
going.
overflow bags.
And with the overflow bags.
And the overflow bags, at least on a temporary basis, will help. And if it
Yeah.
looks like we need to do something because we can't come to agreement on this here, then we could also look at the outside carriers. How do I go about obtaining, because I know we paid back in September, when we purchased the property, apparently this was something that they had neglected and didn't deal with at the closing. So I had gotten a letter from the town stating that this was due, so we paid it in September. And we selected at that point, obviously, just the 1-in-1, not realizing that really that was our only option. And where it was on the sheet, I thought I had the option of the second. But where we were under construction there really wasn't a need for this on site, but they've never been delivered to the property. And is it possible to get them there this week so that we'll have something to use when people move
Yeah,
in over
sure,
the weekend?
absolutely.
Is that something that we need to pick up, or is that something that we can drop off?
You have, it's my understanding, you've signed up for the single-family
Well,
trash
we had, yeah, we had to clear that bill when it came in. I think it
through
was,
the assessor's office.
yeah, from Mary Oliver, I think,
Sure.
that I spoke to about this here.
Yeah,
So,
Mary Oliver is actually currently in the assessor's office,
Yeah.
and she'll be able to help you if you need the bins to be delivered.
Okay.
So the bins can be delivered, we can certainly set that up. And if you have been paying for trash from, you said September?
well, we paid the full amount, yeah. We
Okay.
paid the 108 fee, even though we realistically, we knew we weren't going to use it because we weren't moving in
Yeah.
during those 6 months.
So if you don't have those bins, because I know, I think she had mentioned to me that there was some sort of confusion about whether or not the bins had been
Mhm.
delivered. So if they had not been delivered, you don't have any bins there, then you can request an abatement.
Mary does all of that paperwork.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's, you're paying from September to December and not having bins, that's an issue. That's what we were just discussing over here while you were talking.
Well,
They've
they've been
paid
in.
the bill.
Right, but they've also been
Yeah.
in, you've had dumpsters there.
We've had,
because
yeah, we've
they've
had
Yeah.
been
construction.
in process of
Construction.
construction.
Yep.
So there wasn't really the need for
Yeah.
bins
Right.
jumping out
Mm-hmm.
until now.
Yeah.
The question, Darlene, the $25 for the second recycle bin,
Mhm.
is that a one-time fee or is that semi-annual?
No, I believe that's a
I think
one-time
it's
fee.
A one-time
Yeah,
fee?
to get a
Okay.
secondary.
For a
Yeah.
second
Yeah.
Yep,
recycle bin?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
one-time fee,
Thank
and that fee is charged, I think, through Allied
Okay.
Republic. So it's
More
not,
of a delivery fee, if anything?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not really
Yeah.
negotiable.
Okay.
It's something that is
Yep.
part of the
Yep.
doing
Thank
business.
you.
I believe Mary is still here till 7 o'clock.
Yep.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, the town
Downstairs.
offices are actually open till 7 this
Oh, that's
evening.
nice.
So
Are
that.
you closed on Fridays?
Questions or-
My
No.
town is open till 6, I think, on Mondays. Then they close completely on Fridays.
Oh, no, we're here for half a day on Friday. Yeah.
Okay, are there any other questions, comments, concerns? So,
I'll move to close the evidentiary and discussion part of the hearing.
do we have a second?
Just a question. Mary knows that
How do you vote?
here, and she
Aye.
asked
Aye.
that to
3-0
have
to
you go
close
down
the
there.
I will
She'll
do so.
whatever paperwork.
evidentiary part of the hearing.
Fantastic.
Do I need a
Thank you.
motion to table the question?
We can make that motion to table the request
Okay.
on this until we have an opinion from,
That will basically be my motion to
Okay.
table, to postpone a decision on this, sending it forward to Solid Waste Committee for their advisement and opinion, and to bring it up during our next scheduled meeting.
oh, wait,
I think maybe if we continue it, we can just keep it on the agenda.
Or continue it then.
yeah. We don't even have to make a motion, you can just, you
Okay.
can make a motion, continue, you don't have to go
All
anything
right,
else.
I'll make a motion to continue
The request.
the request.
All right, we have a motion and a second, how do you vote?
Aye.
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 So,
Okay.
so Darlene will get you the information, she got you the information on the date of the meeting.
Yeah, I've got that here, and I'll
Yeah.
probably
No.
touch base with you just to make
Yeah.
sure I'm all set
Absolutely.
anyways.
Yep, I'll send you an email too
Okay.
again with the agenda.
That would be
And then
great.
who's gonna make sure, he's gonna, to get his toters, who's gonna make sure of that?
Yep, he's gonna
I'll
go
go
downstairs.
downstairs.
Okay,
Yep,
good.
The assessor's office right down to the first floor.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I just want to make sure you get toters so you can start.
I'd like to have them myself. I thank you very
All
much for
right,
your
thank
time.
you, sir. You have a great day.
Same to you now.
Thanks for coming in.
Motion.
Thank you.
Motion to close the hearing?
You have a second? How do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, hearing is closed. Okay. All right, at this point, I'd like to go back to approval of minutes. We had a misvote, or a, don't want to call it an illegal vote, but we had a vote that was wrong.
Rescind that vote?
Yes, I'd like to rescind the vote on the approval of minutes for 10-6 because I made a boo-boo. Okay, so actually, the 10-6 minutes would be Steve Norberg and myself.
The only question I would have is on the discussion on 498 Rochdale Street.
Mm-hmm.
Third sentence, this design was approved with the local upgrade approval. Did we specify a date of the original approval on that meeting, or just that it was previously approved?
I'm
Minor
sorry,
detail,
where are
but-
you?
498 Rochdale, approval, discussion, 498 Rochdale Street Septic System Plan.
Mhm.
Third sentence, this design was approved with a local upgrade approval that was requested and granted for the private drinking water well located 50 feet from the septic system.
Okay.
Did we discuss the actual date that the original LUA was approved?
Oh, okay, so we don't have the date here. Do you want to clarify this design was previously
I can go
approved?
back on the minutes and look
And
at
that would be my only,
Maybe add previously? Because we didn't put the actual date in the minutes. I
Yeah,
mean,
no.
we
And
didn't
I don't think we
talk
even
about-
mentioned the original
I don't-
date during
I
the
agree.
meeting.
okay, that's what I was
But I
really
think if we can
curious
change
about.
it to previously,
Previously, right, it'll
Right.
because we didn't
indicate-
approve it, it was
No.
approved before it came to us.
Yeah.
So
that's-
you
So-
want the word previously
Yeah.
put in?
Yeah,
Yes, this design was previously approved with a local upgrade.
yeah. So as not to confuse that it was done.
Yep,
Sure.
while we were
Okay.
there that day.
Absolutely.
So with that
Okay.
only modification, I don't have any other, and I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of 10:16.
I second the motion, how do you vote, Steve?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So 2-0 to approve the minutes of 10/6/2014. And now the next set is Marion and Steve.
10:27.
10/27, did I
Yep.
say 10/26? I think I said the wrong date, but I wasn't here. I sat here in my sick bed and watched this meeting.
Oh,
Did you watch them?
Yeah, watched it. Yep. And laughed and laughed and laughed.
Good.
Darling, what time does the meeting start next door? 7, okay, we'll be done then. Appreciate it. Well, because she has to go to the meeting, so I want to make sure she's out in time to go to that meeting.
Yes, definitely.
This is all easy stuff last.
I'm all set. I previously read them.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting.
So do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept these readings, these minutes of 10:27, 14.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second on the floor. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's 2-0. Marion and Steve to approve the minute of 10/27/2014.
Yay.
All right. Okay, we'll go back to the other side of the table. We're under agenda items B, inspections, and all that good stuff that goes with it.
I just want to start before we go into the inspections. with, from our last meeting, Jack's Variety.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
He's not on the agenda, but I want to have him put on for our next meeting. And so he had sent us a change to the MOU that he wanted you to look at to make sure that this is what you were asking of him. We asked him to make some changes to the MOU to request the extension in writing.
So the changes noted in there?
And they're on the bottom paragraph, Ray,
Okay.
on the first page.
Yep, the duration.
And that is what he came up with and sent in.
That's not what I was looking
And so I didn't put him on the agenda, and
for. No, that's
so
okay.
I did, because I did tell him I'd call back
Yeah.
and discuss it, but I really, because it was a request from the board, he had asked if the board would review and see if that's what they were looking for.
Yeah,
So
I-
what does he want now?
All right, well, last meeting, the meeting we were here, and
Yeah.
he wasn't, I had told him that this had gone on for too long, and Steve and I had discussed that he needs to put what I call a drop dead date.
Right.
That either he's gonna stop coffee service, or he's gonna have his sink in place by that time. There's no more 30 days, 60 days. And me not thinking just threw out a date there, I just said, April 1st, just trying to give him a date. And that's what he seemed to write down, but which I think is that's 120 days from the last time he was here or more. I think that's way over. I had said, speak with Eileen and figure out a date that you guys can work on together. And it seems that he just came in with an
Yeah.
MOU on his own.
So open-ended.
It still seems to be.
Well, that is
Because
our
he's Talking
MOU.
about a
He's-
decision by April 1st.
Yeah,
But
I
think,
want,
like,
I
the
want
sink is installed by
by April 1st or coffees, but
Or-
I still think April 1st is too far away. I had thrown that out, just say, hey, use a date. I could have said February 1st, I could have said January
Well, it's
1st.
your seed you planted.
I planted a seed, I didn't mean to plant a seed, I just said I want a drop dead date.
Mhm.
That either the coffee service is over or the sink is installed by that date. And it still says he wants to make a decision by that date, I don't feel.
No, it's
No.
the sink is in.
It's
and
the sink is
coffee's
in or
out.
the coffee's out, we can, and then he can come back to us with a date that it's gonna be done by, and we can approve the
If
date or
the
not.
sink is in by April 1st.
Yeah, what's it start, in August? Or July?
It was summertime.
It was either July or August that this,
No, the first MUI was signed in August or early.
so that means it was July that he was here in front of us. So,
August 22nd
August.
is
Yeah,
when he...
but when was that first,
I think the first meeting he was here was in June or July, we asked him to put something together, and that's when he got it to us.
Yeah.
So we're looking, it's gonna be almost a year.
I would just, I'd rather, I think, Eileen just wanted to provide an update,
Mhm.
but I'd rather have this discussion, in the context of having it as an agenda item.
Well, that does come under inspector concerns,
Okay.
Well,
so
this
it
is
does
my
fall
con-
under this.
This is my concern. Jack's not asking me to put it on the agenda. He's sending and asking, is this what the board wants?
Okay,
I explained to him, I certainly can't answer for the board,
okay.
but I will show them the document you presented.
I think what Steve said too is the last date that he gives us can't be, I'm gonna make a decision by this date. It has to be, this is it. It's done. It's either coffee service is out or the sink is in. I think that's what you were saying? Yeah, and I think that's where I was trying to get across from last meeting, was that we need a date that everything is gonna be settled by. We can't continue, all right, I'm gonna make a decision, now it's gonna take me 60 days to get the sink, or it's gonna take me 90 days. Now we're in over a year. And we've given him a lot of leeway, and he's followed everything we've asked him to do. But I think now we need to say, okay, what's your decision? I think it's, because first he said he needs 60 or 90 days to make the decision, and now it's been way over that. So I think when the MOU, you can say, okay, the board is happy that you're but we need a decision. It's not, I'm gonna make a decision by that date. It's gonna be done by that date. And then set a date that works for you guys. I told him to get together with you and set a date. So, that's,
Okay, so he can make another revision to our MOU.
but it has to be a final date. We need a final date of when the sink is gonna be in.
And are you looking, obviously, if you are looking to have that final date, does the board, do you want to have something sooner than later? I mean, are you talking within the next 2 months, 3 months for the work to be completed? Because I think that if he's sending this in and it's
It's the way
not
he's
being,
wording it. He wants April 1st to be the date he makes the decision
Decision.
to
Right.
install or
To
discontinue.
make a decision?
What I'm
Yeah.
hearing
No.
you say is, you threw out April 1st to say it's done. In April 1st, either there's a sink or
Or,
there's no
there's no
coffee.
coffee.
And he's saying April 1st
It's
is
his
when he
decision
wants
date.
to decide
Right,
sink or no coffee.
We're,
Right,
we'll be
I
over
get
6
that.
months by then, and so,
He got permitted and signed off and inspected on August 22nd,
Yep.
2014 to sell.
so February 22nd will be 6 months, correct? I think I know, yeah, right around that. So, yeah, and he had said, oh, I want to do 60 to 90 days to see how the coffee service goes. And he's way above and beyond the 60 to 90 days. And what I told him last time is, I told him I want that date to be when it's not the decision. We had said, make the decision, and by that date, everything has to be done.
And I can certainly go back to him and
Yep.
talk to him about
And,
that.
you know, if he wants to get put on for the next meeting, but that's what I want. And let him come up with a date, and then from there, we can decide whether or not that's the date we're gonna accept. Like you said, he could come out with September 1st, and we're gonna say, no, that's way too long. So, I mean, I think we just need a date where this is gonna be over. We can't just continue, because if he makes the
Right.
decision, then he's gonna say, well, it's gonna take me 90 days to get it in, and then it's gonna take me another 60 days to do this, and another 30. It's just not working. We need it done. So, well, I'm sorry, I don't know if I answered your question or not, so.
well, I just want to, I want to be clear is, just so we're not back and forth, you know, this date that, that he came up with, would the board consider that date for everything being done? Would that be something that would be satisfactory?
Which is what date?
We're at 90,
April
that'd be
1st.
90 days.
April 1st?
The first.
It's over 90 days, it's 100 and, what's today, the 12th? Yeah, you're looking at 108 days, 109 days. Right around that.
For him to make his decision and have.
No,
that
that's
sent-
it, that he has 109 days to have it completed, whatever his decision is.
Right.
It would, yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that, April 1st, it's the beginning of spring.
To have it completed?
To have everything done,
Everything
Right,
done.
or stop the coffee?
or stop the coffee service, that will be, he'll have to
That's
make
right.
that
Definitely.
decision by March 1st in order to get a plumber in there to get the work done.
That's right.
So he'll have to make the decision, and
Yep.
I don't want to see, after April 1st, we shouldn't see this anymore.
So the MOU shall end April 1st. Either-
Either coffee service is gone, or the sink has already
Yeah,
been
So
installed
the decision is being taken.
By
up.
April 1st.
by April 1st.
When a sink will be installed or is installed or discontinued coffee service.
I'm fine with that, just because, yeah, I'll
And
give,
that's why I brought it, right, yeah, it was
Yeah.
definitely something that you guys had discussed and.
yeah.
And knew what you meant when you discussed it. I will call him tomorrow and
Mm-hmm.
talk about it, and
He asked us before, when he got the first MOU, to make a decision by a certain date, and we were way over the top of that. I think he asked for 60 to 90, we were
and
over
we really
120.
didn't put it in there, so that's why
No.
this
4
date.
months, I
Yep,
thought.
I want a tight date, and
Yeah.
that's it. We have to, you know, that's just the way it's gonna be.
And just to clarify, you don't want to go past April 1st,
No.
correct? Okay, I
No,
just want to make
April
sure.
1st. It has to
So
be in
there's-
there.
Sink- Operated sink
Yeah,
or discontinuation of the
Yeah.
coffee service, his choice.
that's
Yeah.
fine. I just don't want
Yeah.
Eileen to have to spend
No,
Exactly.
more
no,
time
and I don't want you
back and
spending
forth.
time, you got
So
plenty of
that's
other
why
work
I
to
want to clarify, to
Yeah.
make it as
Mm-hmm.
tight as we
Yeah.
can.
Right.
do. April 1st is the end-all, be-all.
Okay.
If we go in on April
Thank you.
1st and there's no sink there, the coffee machine is shut off. Now, if he finishes the sink by April 15th, he can put the coffee back in, but until, on April 1st, if there's no sink, the coffee machine cannot be there. That's it. I mean, that's,
This is-
I think that's kind of what it
He asked
says.
for clarification.
Yep, and that's,
so-
I think
so
I think
we
that'll be
got it.
clarification.
So
So,
I'll
and,
speak with him tomorrow, and if he can have this ready, then
Thank you.
we'll
yep,
put it on the agenda.
Fine with that.
sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, good.
All right, what else you got for us?
Well, we spent the latter part of the end of the year on a lot of nuisance complaints. We had a lot of vacants. And of course, it's going to start snowing. All the neighbors wanted to make sure we were going to have the last minute. The grass was too long, the windows are unsecured. We have a lot of vacants in this town, and we spent a lot of time on them. We have an unusual amount of noise complaints that we've been dealing with for different reasons. Animals, we have a restaurant that has noise complaint from a residential area, and we've been working on it almost 8 to 10 weeks to try to determine what mechanical part of their system is causing the noise that's disturbing the neighbors. So that's ongoing. But on good news, for all that deep freeze, we only had one establishment that had some broken pipes, and that was Tuesday morning, maybe? Tuesday morning. They were able to get the electrician, plumber. Me and the building department went out there twice, and they were opened by lunch. So that was Bentley's. That was great. For new establishments, I might have already mentioned 860 Southbridge Street, which you'll see an open sign for the BP gas.
Yep.
They are not currently open for any retail food or tobacco. They're working on that, the structure itself, and doing some renovation. But they have applied, and we feel certain we will be issuing retail permit, at least at this point, in tobacco.
Okay.
They're talking about some more food service down the road. 461 Washington Street, they're in the same situation where they're doing some renovation. They want to open up the BP again. They want to do retail and coffee service. They had recently had their sink installed, and we're working through with them on that.
I was
And
gonna
then
ask you,
grease trap. X-Golf, we were working on. They're just about ready for their final inspection, probably another week.
Indoor driving range, is that what that
Yes.
one is?
Yeah, that simulator.
Yep.
So they're just going to have some retail popcorn, coffee service, very, very limited.
Is that new golf place?
This is the one that's up by Motorsports, up on Washington Street, up on Route 20.
The new
The
building?
new building.
new
there's
building
more
up there.
resorts.
Yeah, the one down here is just a store.
Yeah.
Going inside. I like that store.
And then Shell, 612 Southbridge Street, is working on renovation plans.
Okay.
And they want to do a total overhaul renovation and possibly increase.
612, 611.
Oh, 611, thank you, Paula. Possibly do some food service there as well.
Okay.
Currently, they're not even doing coffee right now.
Okay.
Temporary events, we have Dancing with the Stars, which is January 31st. That's a Saturday. My first year doing it, but I know these guys have all been doing it for quite a while. Special Olympics is in February, and Rec and Culture this year is going to start up. I believe they might have done it in the past. They're doing a cooking light class that's going to run about 6 weeks at Packagug Church, and they're going to have someone come in and teach cooking lessons, food safety. They've actually invited the Board of Health to come and do a little session on either allergen or food safety program, which I told them we'd be happy to do. And if it works out well, they hope that that will be either twice a year or every year to get a program up and invite different people in. And we start off the new year, well, you know this too, that with our new inspections. So we've separated all our establishments into 6 months. The first 6 months, I'll do them all, and then they'll drop down into the second 6 months. And with a full year, we should have no problem getting everyone done.
Now, did you look into sending a list to Mike Moore for the low risk, so they don't have to be done twice?
When Darlene was talking earlier about all the work I've been doing on the
Yep.
computer, after we did quite a extensive scrub, and then Paula checked it, we now have all of our establishments in the exact permits that they get, all warehoused in one section.
Yep.
And so now I'm able to pull and do anyone who only has retail, anyone who has
Yep.
this. But on my own, yes, I've scanned, and I mean the Auburn Mall, outside of the food court area. So I already have an idea of a list. Darlene's already looked
Yep.
at it. But now we want to, if we're going to do it, Ray, we're, you know, it's a big town here. We have a lot of establishments. We don't want to do it without really totally looking at it, bringing it to the board and saying, hey, let's not pick these 10 and then 3 months later think, well, we should have had these 60.
Yeah, no, I understand
Yeah.
that. I just know that'll help you with the second half of the year, because once June hits, now you have your 4th of July, now you have all your other outdoors, so
Absolutely.
you're going to hit these temporary events, and you're going to get, over the summer, 60 temporary events, and it's
Yeah.
going to pull you away from other stuff. So if we can knock
Yep.
35 or 40 locations that only need a phone call at the
Yep.
second half of the year, I just did that in Westboro. I just knocked 37
Yeah.
off my list.
Or even a visit.
So-
Like, what do you think about if it's not a full inspection, but it's just a visual visit?
You can just walk, if you're going to do the food court, you can walk the whole mall and just go in, just
Yeah.
take a quick check and out and just say, hey, because a lot of times it's just meeting with the manager and saying, hey, how you doing with the Board of Health? This is it. Just want to check. Things look good. All right. I'll see you in 6 months for your regular inspection. Boom.
Yeah, so I've already made my list of
Yep.
who I think
Yep.
will fit in there after I've already been there.
Yep.
And I don't know if maybe we're not ready to go to just the phone call, but maybe we're ready to go to a visual inspection. Hi, I'm here, just checking, do you have any
Yep.
concerns? Can I help you?
Yep.
And see you later.
Anything under 5 minutes. I mean, it's one of those things where, because
Absolutely.
you go to like a Victoria's Secret and they have mints and chocolates.
Yeah.
Really? You're gonna, do a full inspection on mints and
Right.
chocolates, so.
Yeah,
Right.
so we are working on that, and we do have a list together, and, I'm sure once we go over it, we'll bring it forward.
Okay, that's
And,
great. And I know a lot of towns don't send the list to Mike and it's still covered, but I think it's nice you have it written and you can put it, you can always add to it afterwards, but if you can get a good setup now that you have the place set up for the year, that might work for you. Have it done. It's gonna help the second half of the year go a little easier when you can drop. I mean, what do we have, 200 locations in town?
Yeah, I think like it's 181.
181, you might be able to take 40 or
Yeah.
45 of those and only have to do them once a year for the full inspection, and I think it's going to save you so much time, especially in the busiest part of the year.
Right.
From June to December with all the temporary events you got going on,
Absolutely.
the fall festival, the Christmas things that are going on, the flu clinics, whatever we can do to help you get that stuff at 100% and still keep
Yep.
us moving, that's great.
Well, that's our goal to do.
All right, anything else?
No, I don't think we have anything for food. Do you think we have anything left for?
No, I think we do have, you've covered everything pretty much going on in the office. Like I said, our goal right now just is to take as much time as we can to be able to get all the applications processed. Getting, everything through the processing steps to be able to get the permits printed out into the hands of the
great.
establishments. So that's really what we're focusing our time right now, in balancing that out.
All right, sounds great. Communicable disease, that's for you two.
Oh, that's pretty good. Oh my God, we're pretty clean. That's back. Are you want this whole folder? You want this one also included?
Yep, we'll be out of here in 3.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I'm gonna go get my phone and
Okay. No, I understand it. Yep.
use it to freak that out. That's good.
All right, any questions on that?
Eternal fever, but other than that.
All right, so next meetings is scheduled for the 26th and the 9th. We're gonna have to keep the 26th because we are gonna have that gentleman come back,
Sure.
so. And at that point, will we have any, at that point, are we at the end of, restaurants that have not paid yet, are we gonna,
We're gonna
we'll
have
bring
it
them
at
by
that
that
hearing.
meeting? Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
So that's what our goal is
Okay.
to have anybody, hopefully, we don't have any.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
But I
But, okay.
suspect that there's probably gonna be,
So if we
at
have
least
to,
one or two.
yeah, if we have a couple of those plus him, I would just schedule him to the beginning of the meeting, and then anything else, if it's nothing else important that we have to worry about, because you're gonna be working on the other stuff, so some of the other things may go on the wayside. Like, we're not gonna worry about new, concerns and updates on food because you're gonna be working on that anyway, so.
Right, so we'll clear out, it should be a short meeting. I'll
Okay.
clear out most of this.
Mhm.
And, maybe that's something starting, going forward, maybe we can do like a full meeting like this, the
And then-
beginning, and then like a short,
If we need that
Yeah.
meeting, it's just to
Right.
do any of that other stuff.
right.
Okay. I'll take a motion.
Make that motion
What motion?
to close the meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, motion's been made. How do you vote?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Have a great night.